Hello friends, and welcome back to Scaling Stories. Today, I've got some more highly upvoted posts from Best of Redditor updates. Like always, I'll be reading you the posts and giving you my opinions, and I also hope you do the same in the comments down below. Also, I'm currently monetized through YouTube and Spotify's creator program, so watching on either of those would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for your support. Today's first story comes from the Relationships subreddit. It was posted by congratsitsalie on August 7th, 2016 and was titled, Me, 21 female, boyfriend, 25 male, of 3 months has lied about being adopted for, presumably, over 10 years. Would I be nuts for staying with him? I've suspected his story ever since I met him, but I thought I was being unnecessarily skeptical/questioning of someone's traumatic upbringing to have made a big deal of it. Until yesterday, we were visiting his parents, and I was making chit-chat. As parents are prone to do, his mother started talking about when he was a kid, which was odd because he told me he came to this country at 11 and was adopted by these people at 12. I didn't call it out, but I asked some questions to verify for myself, like, haha, wow, how old was he then, and such. Boyfriend has obviously gone very quiet as we're talking. We had to leave shortly after, and I waited for him to make the first move when we were in the car, which he did. I hate it when they do that. They fabricate my mother's stories and tell them as if they were their own. Where did they get the stories from? Her diary? Where's that diary now? In a bank box in the capital? Why would they do that? Because they don't want to tell people I'm adopted. No point in lying to me, though, since I would obviously have been told. Yes, well, I did notice that she never specifically mentioned herself in that story. Yes, see? We talked a little. Mostly, I was quiet, digesting it all. Thing is, I've always suspected his story to be BS. It's too improbable, too much sob. He's actually from the USA. His real parents and brother died in a house fire. No relatives wanted him in, and he was abandoned in an airport here. Before I left the car, I told him that I'd love him even if his parents were telling the truth. And he went to work, late shift. When he came back, he told me the truth. Showed me his birth certificate and some photos. Told me, who knows, a story about why he's been lying for the past 10 years. He was kicked out/ran away from home when he was 15 and lived in a friend's basement for half a year. When there was talk of getting CPS involved, he lied and has kept it up ever since. He even changed his very traditional name to an English one and explained it by saying his parents forcibly renamed him to make him fit in, and he decided to take his name back. We talk English together because he says it makes him more comfortable. He told his parents and family he changed his name because he didn't like it. I still mean what I said. I care for him even though he's been lying. I said it doesn't change the fact that he's a kind, hardworking, caring person, and I made the demand that he see a psychiatrist and that he just has to suck up the price because his mental health is more important. Small edit, which he agreed to do. But is this nuts? He's wanted to buy a house since before we met, and we had a talk about how the house should fit us 5 years ahead. He visited his parents to show them the one he set on. I really want some outsider perspective here, and I'm not ready to expose him by talking to my friends about this yet. Scaling Stories Corner. Nah, that's crazy. I think he just lied to OP again and that none of that stuff about running away and lying about CPS is true. I think the parents that OP met are probably his real parents, and he was just seething with embarrassment probably when his mom was telling stories about how he was as a kid because he knew he got exposed. I would personally not want to stay with someone like this. I can't imagine being OP and being told that his real parents and brother died in a house fire as a kid and that he was abandoned at the airport shortly after. That makes me think he was trying to bait someone into dating him thinking they would be saving him, sort of like with a savior complex. I just can't trust someone like this because I don't even think that the news story about why he made up those lies is real. I think about why he would make up lies about his entire family dying and that he was adopted by a new family, if in reality, this new family is actually his old family that he was supposedly kicked out or ran away from to the point where CPS had to get involved. It literally doesn't make any sense. This should be a family that you are on guard with or even dislike or hate, but his stories paint them as the people who saved him, so it just doesn't make sense. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, I don't think I would be able to get past that. He clearly has no problem lying to you and keeping up a very obvious lie. As a last-ditch effort, you could sit him down and give him the opportunity to come clean by straight up asking him about it. I mean, we get stories here occasionally from people who told what, at the time, seemed like a little lie that spiraled completely out of control. It's crappy, but people sometimes do stupid things when they're dating and in love. However, if he doesn't come clean after you straight up call him out on it, or if his reaction regarding admitting it is anything other than sincere regret, you should dump the effort on the spot. If he isn't genuinely sorry or can't own up to it when specifically called out, he can't really be trusted because he clearly has no trouble telling blatant lies. OP says, he had no problem lying to literally everyone. He made that clear when he changed his name. This is absolutely the case of a lie spiraling out of control, like you say. I don't think you saw that he did come clean. He did this on his own when it became clear that I was wise to it. I did not specifically call him out on it. He's already agreed to see a psychiatrist. Commenter 2 says, my personal gut feeling is that he's still lying. His new story doesn't make much more sense than the old one. OP says, you're right. I'll see if I can't get some verification on this one as well. If he's lying about his parents being abusive as well, I can't possibly stay. OP adds an edit to her post. Scratch all that about trying to be understanding and crap. Turns out he is a compulsive liar, and I barely know a single true thing about him. This is like The Sixth Sense, when you've had a weird feeling all through the movie, and at the end, you get that aha moment that explains everything. I'm currently at my friend's house, and honestly, a little hungover. I'll make a proper edit later. Update 1 day later. I had to drive over to his this morning to get my work uniform and all my other stuff while I was at it. He keeps telling me we don't have to break up. He loves me and wants to change for me. He's gonna stop, seek therapy, fess up to everyone. I have zero second thoughts about breaking up. All of these things are nice things to do, sure, but I'm not gonna stick around to watch. Yesterday, after writing this and reading your responses, I went to visit him for his lunch break, as we had already planned, and I asked him straight up, was there anything else he had lied about? He said no, nothing that he could think of. So I decided to help him refresh his memory. Anything I had had doubts about but never called him out on. Other things he has lied about. Being sent to Afghanistan as his army service. He has never even been there. Owned part of a small business importing cognac. No, his dad did. He and his brother bought his parents their house. No, he just helped them put down the floors. Owns 3 cars, one he bought for his father and one for his brother. Just no. That wine he served me on our 3rd date was wildly expensive and amazing, something that had gone down as one of our cute stories because I later told him I didn't even like red wine. In reality, it's a sort of nice one bought on holiday by, once again, his dad. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Was inches away from death when his crazy stalker ex stabbed him in the lower stomach area. She was sentenced to 6 months forced psychiatric care. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. He is now saying that she did stalk and stab him, but it was only a flesh wound. He never even filed a police report. This is a story he told the first time we met, and it was absolutely horrifying, the amount of gruesome detail I got. He has since repeated it several times while in my company, to my friends and his, and this is effed up. I'm still learning more, but I'm ready to go no contact and have wiped my hands of the whole relationship. I'm glad I found out now. A little conflicted on whether I should tell his parents, since I have no faith he'll do it on his own, but I'm not sure their relationship could ever snap back from that. ScalingStories Corner. Yikes! Yo, yikes on bikes. Like, that guy was actually crazy. I think compulsive liars are actually insane to read about. Because what do you mean this guy is also lying about being deployed in Afghanistan, getting stabbed by his ex, and all that other stuff? He literally just had too many lies that he didn't know which ones he could come up with when OP asked him to come clean, because probably the entire relationship, as OP put it, has been a lie. There's no doubt something seriously wrong with this guy's head, and it's good OP got out of that relationship before she got to the point of like buying a house with him. As for telling his family, I feel like they should know how their son is behaving and treating other people, because he's ginormously wasted OP's time by being with her and spinning all these lies when she could have been building something real with someone else. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. OP answering a lot of questions from one commenter. I changed a few tiny details to obscure our identities in case anyone he knows reads this, but I don't care about protecting his lies anymore. We're in Norway. He said he was adopted from the UK. He changed his name to an English one when he was 21 and explained to people that it was his original name from before he was adopted, and that his parents had renamed him to a Norwegian one when he came here. In reality, he was born and raised in the same little city as me. Okay friends, so that concludes our first story of the day. Next up, we have a story from the relationships subreddit. It was posted by ImNoBestMan on January 27th, 2017 and was titled, My brother, 34 male, didn't make me, 26 male, his best man. My brother is getting married in a few months and has put together his wedding party. He has asked me to be one of his groomsmen, and I agreed to it. Just for a sense of background with my brother and me, we've never been close. Not just because of a 6-year age gap growing up. We're just completely different people. Neither one of us understands each other's hobbies or interests. We have no mutual friends, etc. And now we live in different cities, about 5 hours apart from one another. To get a sense of how distant we are, we only see one another on major holidays, and when he phoned me, late last year, to be his groomsman, that was the first time in about 2 years we'd spoken to each other on the phone. That said, there's no bad blood between us. Yes, we've had fights growing up, but all siblings do. It's never been tough to be around him. We just both recognize that we want very different lives. So, back to the wedding. He asked me to be a groomsman, and his best friend of more than a decade is his best man. When my family found out, they all freaked out. They just keep yelling at him. He's your brother! How can you snub your own brother on such an important day? It's just dragging the whole thing down. He's picked a really logical person to be his best man, and not only am I comfortable with that, but more importantly, he is too. Honestly, I hadn't even considered the idea that he would ask me to be up there with him at all. There's another side to this as well. I don't even want to do it. I hate weddings in general. I hate all the formalities involved. I hate dressing up, etc. But I can grin and bear it for the day, and I will. I won't be a downer on a day that's so important to them. What I can't do is give a speech, as the best man is supposed to do. I'm a horrible public speaker, and if he picked me, I wouldn't have any clue what to say. We don't do anything together and never really have, so I'd have no stories to tell. Also, I'm terrible at planning things, so I'd be the wrong person to plan his bachelor party. Hell, I wouldn't even know who to invite. I don't know any of his friends. So that's where we are now. As much as I hate weddings, I respect my brother and his fiancée enough that I want theirs to be a special day for them, and I don't want this crap argument to cast a shadow over their day. I don't want them to look at wedding photos and then be reminded of all the arguing my family has put him through for snubbing me. Is there any way we can have a rational discussion about this? I can't even understand where my family is coming from. This is, to me, such a non-dispute that I can't believe they took it up. There's a solution staring us all in the face that keeps all the necessary parties happy. Just don't make me the best man. But our family can't seem to accept this for some reason. Scaling Stories Corner. Literally, I think everything in OP's post makes reasonable sense about why he shouldn't be the best man and why it should actually go to his brother's best friend. I'm pretty sure OP and his brother are actually in agreement with this, so there's not much more left to say to their family. If anything, OP could show them the post, and if they're reasonable people, they should agree and accept. But on the other hand, I guess they're not very reasonable people because OP had to make this post in the first place. And he and his brother have no doubt probably said the same things that OP already wrote down. I guess they can have one final sit down together with them, or on the phone together, that there's no disagreements on who is the best man, that OP doesn't even want to be the best man, and that they're both fully grown adults, and that everyone on the call are adults, and it's the brother's wedding, so what he wants should also be top priority. And to just please stop making something out of nothing because you're all just bored or something. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, "Sounds like you being one of his groomsmen is the perfect place in the wedding for you. You know it and your brother knows it, so now you have to get the rest of your family on board. Have you told your family that you're happy with things the way they are and that you don't feel snubbed?" OP says, "Yes, we both have." Commenter 2 says, As a point of comparison, how is the bride choosing her side of things? If she, too, has gone for a best friend, then throw that fact in there. OP says, honestly, I have no idea who's in her party or even if she has any siblings. Commenter 3 says, now, I don't think you should have to, as ultimately it's your brother's decision. And frankly, even if you did want to be his best man, he has the right to choose and has opted for his best friend. However, given that's not your situation and it seems like you want to keep peace with your family, are you willing and able to reach a compromise with them? Perhaps you can be the head groomsman or have a slightly more important role, just not best man. Play to your hobby/interests. Perhaps, i.e., say you're into photography, you could offer to do that. Or if you're a dab hand in the kitchen, you can make the cake. I don't know enough about weddings or you/your family to make any valid suggestions, but I hope it's food for thought, at least. OP says, I appreciate your advice and don't want to come across as dismissive, but I'm not sure it's something we can incorporate. The thing is, head groomsman is ultimately what the best man is. He's the one in charge of the group on my brother's behalf. If I were to take on some role as something more than a groomsman, that would be stepping on someone else's toes at every turn. Commenter 4 says, first paragraph sums it up. He wanted someone who he felt he was closer to. Be honored you are one of his groomsmen. One of my closest friends initially said I would be his best man, and then, a month later, he changed his mind to his brother, which I said, sure thing, fair enough. And then, a few months later, changed his mind again to one of his other friends and didn't even make me a groomsman. To be honest, I was pretty salty after all that, and I went anyway, but yeah, don't feel down on it. He just wanted someone closer in his life to be it. The fact you are a groomsman is still pretty good in my opinion. OP says, I don't mean to be rude, but did you not read the rest of the post? I'm happy for him and completely understand why he picked his best friend. And more than that, I'm happy to not be doing it. I'd be a terrible best man. The drama is coming from the family. And yes, I am very touched to be a groomsman. Update 4 months, 2 weeks later. Hi everyone, and thanks for the help you offered in my original post. My brother married his wife yesterday, and things went well. There seemed to be a bit of confusion in one of the comments, so I want to say again, I'm glad my brother picked the person he did to be his best man. I am honored to be one of his groomsmen, and I'm completely on his side in this whole thing. So the main takeaway I got from my original thread was that I should be the person to shut our parents down when they throw a hissy fit over the fact that I'm not my brother's best man. Quite simply, I did what I could. As I now live in a different city from my family, I'm sure that I was not present for many of the fights my brother had to endure. When I visited my former hometown, I saw what they had to say, but I can only imagine that he's had to take more crap than I ever saw. After the comments in my original thread, I phoned my brother to make it clear that I was 100% on his side in this and that, while we're not exactly close as friends, I'm honored to be a groomsman for him, and I thought that he made a great choice for his best man. I also let him know that if anyone at all were to throw crap at him for his choice of groomsman, he can defer them to me, and I'll handle the fallout. His choice for his side of the bridal party should not cast a shadow on their day. I never got a call, but my brother isn't someone to deflect conflict. At this point, I wasn't sure if anything more was said. Once I traveled out for the rehearsal and wedding, I finally found out his groomsman order. I was number 2, immediately behind his best man. Things went well, and we were all ready for the wedding. The wedding went well, and my brother's best friend did a great job as best man. The bachelor party and speech were legendary, haha. I could have never done what he did. As our parents gave their speech, we both felt there was a bit of shade thrown his way. Nothing in the sense of, we're all mad that he abandoned his family and picked a friend as his best man. More along the lines of, family is incredibly important, and no friendship can ever be more important than your family. I told them that it was obvious to us what they were talking about, and it was kind of obvious that they were still at least a bit upset. I had to tell them again that I would have been a terrible best man and would have turned it down if he offered it to me. At the end of the day, my brother's and sister-in-law's wedding went well. I proudly stood behind my brother and his best friend, and while my parents threw some shade at the wedding, they didn't ruin it. Fun PS to the story. A kind Redditor in my original post suggested that I could offer a reading during the ceremony or a speech during the reception. I didn't respond to it, so I'll take that opportunity now. If I'd asked, I have no doubt that my brother would have given me the moment to give a speech or a reading. However, as I said, I'm a terrible public speaker, to the degree that I'm the type to pass out at the podium. Despite that, and without knowing of my original thread, his best man made a joke that I was going to make an impromptu speech during the reception. I shut that down pretty quickly, just in case, but we all had a good laugh over it. Scaling Stories Corner. Well, I'm glad OP's brother and his fiancée were able to get married without any family drama completely blowing it up and ruining their day. It's honestly kind of cringe that even after OP told his parents exactly why he didn't want to be best man and how it didn't make sense, and to essentially please leave his brother alone because he did nothing wrong, they still decide to throw shade at them in their parent wedding speeches. Like, these parents have the universe revolves around them syndrome, and that kind of person is so annoying to be around because they can't listen to reason. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, "Imagine letting something like that ruin your son's wedding for yourself. Imagine being so wrapped up in tradition that it puts you in a bad mood for the entire lead up to the wedding, and, on the day, you even make a point to mention it in a speech. What would have happened if your bro asked you to be best man, but you declined? Then the position goes to the next down the line, his best friend. Would your parents have been okay with that outcome? Petty people annoy me. Tongue sticking out emoji." Commenter 2 says, "I never knew that tradition was having a family member be a maid of honor or best man. I always thought the tradition was for the groom/bride to pick their own. Slanted face emoji." OP says, "I don't think it really is a tradition. Our parents just seem to make more of this than it really is. It should be someone reliable in your life and who you're really close to." Commenter 3 says, "My family wasn't happy that my brother didn't pick me. I really didn't care. He and I didn't have the best relationship. I think it is the family is forever sort of thing." OP says, "See, I wouldn't say that my brother and I don't have the best relationship. There's no tension or bad blood. We're just totally different. We can both accept that and love each other with the relationship that we have. But when it came to choosing a best man, my brother picked a person he's particularly close with and who would actually be able to pull off the job." Commenter 4 says, "I think that, deep down, your parents are feeling some guilt that they must have done something wrong as parents for their kids to not end up very close to each other. They had a picture in their head of you two as kids and thought they, as your parents, knew everything about both of you, and suddenly finding out that you two are adults who have grown apart shatters their mental image of your family. You two were always the most important people in the world to them, so it is insane to them that you aren't the most important person to each other. To displace their guilt, they have been focusing their anger and guilt tripping on your brother. The only reason I think this might be such a deep and complex issue for them is that they still could not let it go on the wedding day. In any case, there's not much you can do other than continuing to be a good brother. If/when you get married and you choose your brother as a groomsman instead of best man, expect more drama from your parents if they haven't dealt with their issues by then." OP says, "Trust me, if I ever get married, it's going to be in a courtroom without a bridal party. Weddings just aren't for me." Okay friends, so that concludes today's video. Leave a like and comment down below to let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.